Afternoon tea feels like something reserved for luxury hotels, but today I'm going to show you how easy it is to recreate this beautiful experience at home. Welcome to Creating Happiness with Jocelyn. I'm Jocelyn and I'm so glad you're spending a little bit of time with me today. I'm really excited today because I'm going to be sharing with you something that I really love doing, and that's going for afternoon tea. Afternoon teas are definitely a special treat. They feel luxurious and fancy, and when you get your friends together and you're celebrating, you'll go to a tea room or a hotel and have a really nice upscale time together. But I wanted to share with you today how you can take some of that tea room experience into your home. One of the reasons I love afternoon teas is that it really is about spending a really long time with your friends. You can easily spend 2 to 3 hours sipping tea, having treats, and it really is about catching up with your friends in a way that makes you feel a little bit special. And so I love doing it at home. I've started hosting afternoon teas for quite a while now, and every time I do it, my friends are so impressed and they really do feel special. One of the other reasons I love doing it is that it's so easy to host. All the prep work happens before anyone even gets there. And so, you kind of have all of the things you need at the table. And so you can also just kind of relax, be fully present, and just hang out with your friends. One of the other things I love about it is there's something for everyone. There's lots of different treats, lots of variety. And so today I'm going to take you through how I made this modern classic afternoon tea. So please stay with me so we can enjoy some tea together. So we're going to start with one of the parts that I have the most fun with, and that's our centerpieces. Today I'm going to be using some fresh florals. Now, florals are definitely pretty traditional. I did share at the beginning of this video that the vision for this afternoon tea is definitely something that's a little bit more modern. So the way that I'm going to balance that is by doing something monochromatic. So you can see that all of the flowers I've picked here are white. When you pick monochromatic color theme, you really want to think about different textures because that's what's going to make your centerpiece interesting. So here I have some baby's breath, I have some of these mini carnations, I have some chrysanthemums, and I have these really fun berries. I'm by no means a florist or flower expert. I just really love the way they look, and I do my very best to have some fun and get creative when I do my centerpieces. So I'll give you a couple of tips, but I'm sure there's some people out there who might be much better experts than me, but do the things that make you happy, and I'm sure your guests will appreciate anything that you do that you put some heart and some thought into. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm picking some vases that are a bit lower, so these will be smaller arrangements. I really like giving arrangements when they're fresh flowers to my guests as gifts to take with them. One of the other things that's nice about these being so low is the intention of an afternoon tea is really to spend like 3 to 4 hours together, chit-chatting, catching up, and you really want the ability to kind of talk to each other with nothing sort of in the way. So I think the lower centerpieces are definitely a good call for this afternoon tea. So I did already start by putting some of the flower food that comes with the flowers, and I'm just gonna add a bit of water. So when you're thinking about what you want it to look like, you want to think about, like, are you looking for a triangle or tower shape? Do you want something that's more rounded? You can also do something that's asymmetrical. I like to sometimes hold them in my hand to kind of get a look of what I want, and then I'll kind of put them in the vase to get them ready to be put on the table. So I'm gonna get started. So clearly these are much taller than my vase here. So the first thing I'm gonna have to do is cut some of these down. I'm definitely gonna be doing something that has a bit of height because I do have these really nice berries and they stand pretty tall. And then I'm probably gonna use these more around the bottom. And because the chrysanthemums are quite large, I'm probably gonna have them somewhere as a center piece to the centerpiece. So let me get started. Okay, so centerpiece number 1 done. I have 2 more to do, but through the magic of some tea, I'm gonna get them done for you. And just like that, they're all done. I'm really happy with how they turned out. Something to remember about doing multiple arrangements, it's the same as getting your eyebrows done. They're not twins, they're siblings, so you want them to definitely go together, but they don't have to look exactly alike. You know, I'm not a superstar at doing flower arrangements, but I think these look really great. So I hope you'll give yourself a chance to try your hand and get a little bit creative with flowers, whether you feel like an expert or not, because I definitely don't, and I'm happy with how these look. The next thing we're gonna work on is actually setting up our table for the afternoon tea. I'm really excited to show you how everything comes together. Great, so we have our centerpieces done, and now it's time to start talking about how to set your table. So I always think the best thing to do when you're doing an afternoon tea or just any kind of tea is to start with your tea set. So you can see I have quite a few tea sets. I love collecting them, but I knew that I wanted to do something that was a bit more modern, so I actually opted for this teacup and saucer. I like it because it's a little bit Art Deco, so it has a little bit of texture to it, which is nice. So even though it's white, it's still interesting. And then I did have this really fun teapot. Now it's white, but it's definitely not boring because it's in the shape of a goose, which I love. So I think this is really beautiful and fun. So once I knew what teacup and saucer and teapots I was gonna use, it was time to think about what I was gonna cover the table with. So I was thinking about tea, and even though I wanted to do something modern, I still thought it would be good to do something that is traditional. So lace is often seen at afternoon teas or just tea in general. And so I opted for this white lace tablecloth, which I really liked. So it definitely all goes with my white centerpieces, but I wanted to add like one more component, and that was like these glasses and crystals. So I have these candlestick holders with white candles, and then I opted for this glass. So it has kind of the same sort of textured body that my teacup has, but it's just a small little glass cup, which is really nice. My vases are glass as well, so I've got the white and glass done really well in terms of hitting that note. The other thing, when I was thinking through being modern, typically in an afternoon tea you'll see those round cake stands that will display all of the food, and I wanted to do something that was less traditional, and so I opted for this 3 tiered rectangle food display. So still going to achieve the same thing where you have the 3 layers showing your different courses of afternoon tea, but served in a modern way, which I really like. So once I took a look at all the things that I'd pulled together, I definitely thought I needed one more thing to sort of break it up. There isn't a whole lot of contrast between the white and the glass and crystal. So I wanted to introduce a bit of black. I definitely think that white, crystal, or glass and black really do give you a modern impression. So I think that's what I needed to do. So I'll show you how I added it. So first I started with cutlery. So this is a plain black set that I have, and right away I could see how it was gonna add a lot of contrast, which is great. And then next I started thinking about the dishes I wanted my guests to use as they're picking their different treats and goodies off of the tier stand. And so I opted for 2 plates. The first one is this white plate that has these black flowers, so bringing in a bit more of that black. And then I have this really nice scalloped black glass plate, which I think looks really beautiful. So now you can see I'm definitely going to be breaking up some of the some of the white. So I want to add a little bit more black touches, and so I'm going to do that through ribbon. So I have 3 different ribbons, all different textures, and I'll add those in, a few bows here and there, just to add a little bit more of that black accent. So now that you kind of understand the vision and the different steps to putting your tea set together, it's time for me to put this tea set all together for you to see the final look. Table setting is all done and I'm really happy with how it looks. I think I did a great job of blending modern and traditional elements together, and I think I created a really elegant table setting. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what you serve at an afternoon tea, because it's actually the thing that determines whether your tea is an afternoon tea. So an afternoon tea has what you would consider kind of like 3 courses. So you would have a savory course with tea sandwiches. You would then have some bread, so mostly scones, different types of scones. And then at the bottom you'd have like desserts, which would be things like macaroons, small cakes, little treats, eclairs, a little bit more decadent. And so that really is what makes your afternoon tea an afternoon tea. Otherwise, you're just having some tea. A lot of times, if you wanted to make your tea a little bit more special, you could serve something like a glass of champagne or something sparkly, and that would make it a royal tea. Now, one of the other things you want to consider is you'll want to have more than 1 teapot. If possible, it's nice to have 1 teapot per person. For this serving, I'm only going to have 2, so it's always nice to have an option of teas for your guests. So for today, I'm going to be serving a Darjeeling and then also a fruit tea that's decaf. So it's nice to have a couple of options to offer your guests. And that's part of the fun of having afternoon tea, is there really is something for everyone. Again, the thing I love about afternoon tea is it really is meant to let you sit there, have long chats, long catch-ups, and you can just snack as you go. I know sometimes it can feel like afternoon tea has lots of rules and it can feel really stuffy, but I think when you're hosting them at home, it can really be something that's special but also comfortable. Everyone could just take their time, go slow, and most importantly for you as a host, because all of the prep work is before everyone arrives, you can really be fully present and not really have to worry about whether your guests have everything they need. The only thing you may have to do is top up the pots with some hot water. So let me go get some of our delicious treats and I'll walk you through what I put together. All right, so I've got my assortment of treats here ready to be enjoyed. So the desserts, I did just buy these. So I want you to know that when you're hosting, it's 100% okay for you to buy the food that you're going to serve. I think sometimes we get caught up in wanting to do it all and feeling like we really need to impress our guests. And I think you can do that by balancing the amount of time you have so that you can really enjoy hosting and having your friends over. So I do think buying desserts for an afternoon tea is a great idea. So I just have some small cheesecakes, I have some eclairs, and I have some macarons. I also have some scones. Now, These I kind of made, so I bought these from a really nice bakery. They came frozen and then I baked them, so I guess you could kind of say I can take credit for that. And then I did make all of the tea sandwiches. So I made a croque monsieur, I made a roast beef sandwich, and I also made a strawberry and goat's cheese croissant. So if you want to know how I made all of these, I'll link my short to this video so you can go check them out. They're really easy and super tasty. So highly recommend you go see that after you finish this video. I did kind of do a little bit of a French theme with the food. But yeah, I think they all turned out really beautiful and really delicious. There were a couple more touches I wanted to talk through with you, and that's when you're having afternoon tea, there's a couple of things you want to have. So in addition to your tea, you want to have clotted cream. Now you often put this on your scones along with some jam. Now you don't have to have these little jam jars. You can definitely just find some small dishes and use your regular jam to share it out to your guests. I kind of like these because then also your guests can take it with them if they've really enjoyed it and didn't use all of it. The other thing you want to make sure is you have things like sugar, milk, and honey. We don't want to assume that all of our guests are going to drink their tea black. So it's important that you think that through as well and have it ready for them at the table. I'm really excited with how everything turns out. I'm not gonna lie, my stomach's growling a little and my mouth is watering because I think I'm ready to dig into some of these sandwiches and some sweet treats. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really enjoy sharing these types of activities and ideas with you, and it's really fun to be able to have an avenue to share it, you know, and have other people watch it. So I hope you got inspired to do your own afternoon tea, and I hope I made it seem fun, approachable, and still a really nice way for you to enjoy some time with your friends and help them feel really special. So please subscribe, please like this video if you liked it. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. I hope it's filled with love, lots of happiness, and I hope I see you next week. Bye.